small school football playoff time going into the second round. Give me your headliner from week 1, Dave, of the playoffs.
I think Brendan Stewart, he's a sophomore running back for Carlinville. He rushed for a little over 140 yards last week, scored 3 touchdowns. Carlinville.
Is he over 1,000?
Yeah, he's over 1,000. He
back.
is, in Carlinville's fabled football history, he's only about the 12th or 13th guy for over 1,000 yards in a 9-game regular season.
Okay.
So he's only a sophomore, so we're going to hear from him quite a bit. So they shut out Alton Marquette last week, and
the rematch was no match.
Yeah, as it turned out. Yeah, Carlinville keeps getting better and better.
Let's go into the second round of the playoffs. We'll start with 1A. Just one team from our area left in 1A. Jacksonville route. They've got to hit the road.
Yeah, they have to hit the road. They have to go down to Bridgeport Red Hill, which is down near Lawrenceville, Illinois, down in John Sapini country down there. They have to play Bridgeport Red Hill, the Salukis, the other Salukis. Red Hill, I think traditionally has been 2A until this year. They've gone down to 1A. They're 6-4. They got an upset win against Villa Grove last week. They won in overtime. Went for 2 points in the overtime after getting within a point. Kind of a gutsy move there.
Route eliminated Pawnee
last week,
and looked pretty good doing it, but lost their quarterback.
Right. Tyler Schmidt is Route's senior quarterback. It's some type of a bone fracture in his ankle, and from all indications, he's not going to be back for the balance of the playoffs. So it looks like Route will go with their Nick Lonergan.
2 Nick Lonergans from Jacksonville.
Apparently distant relation, I guess. He's a sophomore. They have a lot of confidence in him. But they also have Mike Tonry in the backfield.
Wildcat.
The Wildcat. They went with that a little bit last week, initially after Schmidt got hurt. Tonry's very quick, very elusive. So they have a little bit of flexibility there. But it's tough to go in there without your senior quarterback. So we'll see what happens.
2A. We have Williamsville. The only area-on-area matchup is Williamsville at Auburn in 2A.
Right. Yeah.
They've already played once, and that was a much ballyhooed game that turned out to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was. Auburn won 16-14 up at Williamsville. It was a Sangamo Conference game. This is the first time these two have ever met in the playoffs. I would have thought over the years they would have met before, but it's the first time. Auburn, in that win against Williamsville the first time, played a very good defensive game. They held Josh Gentile of Williamsville to about 28 net yards.
Is he healthy?
I don't know if he's really 100%. They said the last couple of weeks he has gotten better. He's had kind of a tough year. He had a concussion, had to sit out a game, had an ankle injury. But Dave Bates watched them play Beardstown last week. He thought Gentile looked pretty good. So even, as they say, a Gentile, maybe 80 or 90% is still pretty tough. Good. But Auburn, basically, they'll need a similar defensive effort to kind of keep Gentile under wraps. And I think Williamsville has gotten more guys more comfortable and more involved with their offense as the season's gone on.
But they struggled a little bit last week at Athens. They had to come back and get a late touchdown to beat Athens last week.
Well, yeah, Auburn did. Auburn, exactly. Yeah, they got a kind of a clutch 4th down pass completions from Michael Bates. So it should be a real good game. This one will be at Auburn Saturday afternoon.
What else we have in 2A?
Carlinville with Brendan Stewart has to go over to Casey Westfield. Another long trip. Casey is 10-0. They're heard from just about every year. Keith Sinclair has been the coach there for a number of years. This was sort of a rebuilding year for them. 2 years ago, they finished second in the state playoffs. Last year, they did okay. I think they had a grand total of 2 starters back this year.
Wow.
And
they're 10-0.
And they're 10-0. Yeah, most of their guys are sophomores and juniors. So they just have a lot of tradition. Carlinville, has played very well. Their only loss was a tough loss at Greenville, but still going on the road over to Casey. That's going to be a tough one for them. And the last Area 2A game we have is pretty far south of here, but Staunton, which got a nice first-round win over Redbud.
Put up 66.
Right. They will host Johnston City from deep southern Illinois. Johnston City, the Indians, they're 10-0. They have a fullback. His last name is Kirkman. He is a 5'10", 225-pound, try-to-stop-me type of running back. They're an option team, but he's gained over 1,000 yards. He also kicks for him, punts for him, linebacker. Small school, typical guy. He's on the field all the time. But Staunton does have the home field advantage, so hopefully they can make a pretty good game of it. And then the 3A, game is another rematch.
Greenville and Pana.
Greenville at Pana. And Pana had a big win mid-season, won at Greenville, broke Greenville's long South Central winning streak. Pana has played very good defense in recent weeks, a bunch of shutouts. They gave up 7 points last week. Greenville has a very good passing attack. Their junior quarterback has thrown for over 2,700 yards. Probably just a question if Pana can put some pressure on their quarterback.
Pana really probably the surprise team, as well as they've played to be 9-1 right now. I mean, there weren't great expectations.
Yeah, but I think they got some confidence in the playoffs last year, where they got to the third round. They hadn't done that before. They had some people to replace this year, but their offense isn't fancy, but they control the ball and they play very good defense. And I think they could easily be undefeated. They lost an overtime game to Carlinville, so Al Stupek has done a tremendous job down there.
Football playoffs, you got to love it. We'll be back next week. Come back and join us.